It's recording.
ImageCon's last final day.
Yep.
We've had a blast, and I hope you've had too. I mean, I've seen you walk around and greet fans. It's been, I've seen a smile on your face all weekend.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about some gaming stuff,
Okay.
and then also talk about your classic character Spawn.
Right.
And you're a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
And you, in the last few years, have had the honor, the privilege to work with Kurt Schilling with 38 Studios,
Right.
and become the visionary for creating this world that R.A. Salvatore and many others helped create. But you gave it the visual flair that gamers are able to enjoy right now. And I'm talking about Kingdoms of Amalur, The Reckoning, now available.
Dun, 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 dun. Just happen to have one. That's it.
How was that? That your style that you've incorporated on many characters, including Spawn, just sort of fits so well in that world.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, again, for people who are hardcore, I said before, people who are hardcore Todd MacFarlane fans, if they go and buy Reckoning, they're going to be disappointed. And I say that is because if you're looking for my style, it's not there. And that was an intentional conversation I had with everybody at the beginning. The game isn't called Todd MacFarlane's Kingdoms of Reckoning. And so, I can do that vanity video game another day, right? And say, hey, I want it to look closer to my art style. What we were trying to do is, we knew we were going to do a role-playing game, an RPG game, and we sort of looked at it, and I go, let's just look at it from a global point of view. There's this many people in the world that know who I am, and there's this many that don't. Let's play to the people that don't. So it didn't make sense to me to worry about a style that most people wouldn't get the joke, if you will. Who's Todd? What do I care, right? So what we needed to do instead was to just build a good video game that was in the RPG area, and that was really sort of more important. Can we have some better gameplay? Can we do some better animation? Can we have some better effects? Can we have a bigger world than people are used to? Can we just add 10 to 12 new elements that they're not used to in the video game realm of RPGs, that when they play it, they go, wow, this is a new IP. It's kind of cool, right? Just like a new comic book that comes out. You go, I know Superman, Batman, but this new comic book kind of cool. That was the same thing, and so far it looks like that we've been able to hit our mark.
Well, I remember a few years ago at San Diego Comic-Con when they were announcing the project, and you had one of the figures there, and you were just so excited, standing on the table, in fact, and showing people.
No, the acting of it, right? the animation. No, when Kurt Schilling, when he called me, he was with the Red Sox at that point. Kurt and I had met when he played for the Diamondbacks, because I live in Phoenix and he was with Phoenix, and we'd run into each other. And so when he sort of pitched it to R.A. and I, years ago, and we then both jumped on board, and we started developing the MMO, right? And MMO has still been being developed. I mean, we've never stopped developing it. Just as we started developing the MMO, somewhere along the line, Kurt acquired a PC console game company, and then put a little bit of the same paint job, or at least a brand on it, although it's because it's set 1,000 years back. And we now had two games we were tracking. One we were developing in Boston, one we were developing in Baltimore. So finally, after years of developing, this one comes out, EA distributes it. Later in the year, we're going to have the MMO version, big giant version of it's coming out. But here's Kurt's, when he asked me to come on board, I said, look, if you give me control over all art, lighting, costumes, weapons, characters, architecture, the way that the environment looks, animation, sound effects, spell casting, all of it, then I'll jump on board. And the reason is that I just felt that the viewer at the end, the gamer at the end, the consumer, only sees all of it put together. He doesn't see it in different segments. So he's just going to either go, or she's going to go, I like it or I don't like it. I mean, it's going to be that simple. And the like or the dislike is all those pieces sort of jammed together. So I go, Kurt, if you just let me add a little bit of sexy to these little divisions and put it together, then maybe visually we might be able to make an impact. while at the same time having the big story and having all the IT and the gameplay stuff that Ken Ralston brought to it.
Will we be seeing any of Kingdoms of Amalur in these glass cases in the near future?
That was, again, when Kurt first approached us, he had a big vision. I mean, he was like, I want to do the game, because he knew he was on the downside. He was a couple years away from retiring. And he goes, I want to start a company, and I want to make a video game, and I want the video game then to turn into a movie and TV shows and comics and novels.
So he's thinking big picture.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we all should, right? Anytime you start stuff, he gets to control it. He just wants to dominate the world, right? So, I mean, he's a competitive guy. He's an athlete, right? He's used to going against people and just beating them. So that was always his goal. So will we have? I mean, we don't have the statue. I did a statue already of one of the characters, but will we eventually have the toys? The simple answer is yes. If there's success and there's a hunger for it, right? I mean, I try to say to everybody involved that you don't have to sort of get ahead of the curve. Sometimes you can wait and build an appetite and then come out with it, and then people go, oh my gosh, finally somebody's making something. So the answer would be yes.
Can we talk about another video game franchise you're often associated with, obviously, since Halo 3, talking about the Halo action figures. Now, we see some of the stuff that's coming out later this year.
Yep.
One thing in particular that caught my fancy was the Halo avatars.
Yeah.
Have you been working with Xbox Live to incorporate, to sort of cross boundaries between actual figures and integration with gamers' own avatars with downloadable content and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting because the people who developed the game Halo and Xbox Live, they're two separate entities within the big sort of giant that's called Microsoft, right? So even if you sort of have relationships and you're friendly over here, you have to then rebuild all of the relationships over here. So it's all new to them. They've never really sort of quote unquote licensed things before. So what we're doing is sort of new and interesting to them, and we're just getting into a comfort level that I think what will happen is, and it's happened before dozens of times in other contracts, that you sort of tippy-toe into the first release. Once they see it, they think it's cool. They go, oh, and everybody's got them on the desk. Then the next time you go back, everybody's got a smile on their face, and they open up the vault, and you got a better chance to do stuff. I mean, the same thing sort of happened with Walking Tall. I mean,
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. I keep saying Walking Tall. I'm an old guy. It was kind of a big movie when I was a kid. But
those would be great action figure, having big Buford with the stick. Now, I understand, with 343, things are tightly under wraps.
Right.
But we know now that Master Chief is going to be changing. We won't go into specifics.
Right.
As a figure company, as a toy company, has there been has it sort of had provided its own challenges now that you're taking it?
The opposite. Here's what I thought was cool about it, is that Bungie, who've been developing the previous 3 games and reached, you could argue a bit that they were too close to the action. The baby was sort of super precious to them. The new group now comes in, and although they're going to pay homage to it, and they're going to make sure that they don't mess up this $1 billion baby, they're also sort of very energized and energetic. And so where maybe Bungie was moving incrementally like this in some of the new ideas and new design, then the 343 people are stretching it out just a little bit. From my perspective, I think it looks cool because I got to see some of it earlier because we're making a toy. I think that the game players are going to dig it. I mean, there's some really cool stuff in there. Can't talk about it, but there's some cool stuff. But when I first saw it, from a toy guy's point of view, my eyes got big because I just want. Because after about 3 years, you're starting to go, how many different ways can we skin Master Chief?
Right.
And then they show you Master Chief, and you go, it's still Master Chief, it's still instantly recognizable as Master Chief, but there's enough changes and nuances that you go, I can now add another one to my collection, and we can put stuff out, including, and then you got vehicles and different characters in the whole world that's there. So we're looking forward to it. I mean, it's kind of like getting a new paint job on the same car. You're going, we can resell a bunch of stuff. So.
Image Comics, obviously, we're here at Image Comics Expo. 20th anniversary. What does that mean for your longtime fans and maybe your new fans as well? for readers of Spawn?
I guess what it would mean for readers and potential consumers, it means it through thick and thin, through the ups and the downs of the comic book industry, through the ups and the downs of the economic world, we're still surviving. Which basically means we haven't become so rigid as a company that we can't sort of figure out how to still prosper. So there's no reason to believe then, using that same attitude, there can't be another 20 years. Now, what it will look like, I don't know. Because we don't really give any set agenda to anybody at the company. What we just do is say, we're a comic company. We want to publish comic books. Let's go. I mean, if you look at the beginning of it, we were doing like big, bulky superhero comic books, and now we're very eclectic, right? Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, you've got books like, Walking Dead and Chew that there's no costumes in them, and are doing quite well. They're black and whites too, with Walking Dead. So we're not prejudiced of going, it has to look like what the original founders did. We're just looking for quality product, quality books.
One final question. You've done Halo action figures. You've had great work in Kingdoms of Amalur. Do you feel the itch for the return of Spawn to a game console or PC?
To me, there's sort of a natural course for all that. So, right now, something like Walking Dead, is got a lot of attention, so everybody sort of goes to it. I'm not giving them any big reason to come out and spend a decent amount of money on some of those. So, if we get the movie off the ground and we get the animation back on TV, all of a sudden they'll come out of the woodwork. People will go, hey, Todd, we need to make hats and we need to make shoes and video games, and then I'll get to pick and choose, see if I want to do any of that. We'll go back making more toys. So there has to be a reason for people to then actually go and get it, other than it just merely exists, right? We've done that with some of the toys. We'll just do stuff out of the blue. We have moderate success, but nothing really big, because there's nothing driving it off the shelf at that point, right? Which is why the retailers like it when the big companies either spending a lot of money or there's a big movie driving it, so people know what it is that they're buying.
Well, congratulations on a great convention. It's been a lot of fun for us, and I'm sure it's been a lot of fun for you.
Yeah.
And look forward to what the coming year brings. For
12 more issues of Spawn? What are you talking about? Spawn's still the driver of all of it, right?
Yeah.
We did 15 issues last year.
Wow.
I believe we did 15 issues with the same writer and artist team. And I can't recall in my lifetime that somebody's put out 15 issues with the same group. There's been 15 issues and they've swapped people, but not 15 issues consistent.
Same team. Yeah.
Right, same team. And we did that last year, and we'll give you another 12.
Great. Thank you so much.